Greetings and salutations, brownies. Welcome to another episode of Just Jazz Vlogs. And before we begin, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider becoming a patron on patreon.com. All of the links to these things will be in the description below. Alright, so yesterday I made a quick video just asking you guys what you wanted to see for the last week of videos, because I won't be making any more until after the new year. And one of you guys, by the name of Mackenzie, I'm paraphrasing, she basically said she wanted me to discuss something that I'm passionate about, something that I love doing, and I think that is brilliant. So after I made the video, looked at the comments, I went home, talked it over with my mom, and I finally figured out what I am extremely passionate about. And I mean, I have many passions, but one of the things that really grinds my gears is the foster care system. I was a foster child. Now, I've made videos in the past, and if you want to see those, links will be in the description below, and there'll be little cards floating above my head. But long story short, I was born with medical complications. My mother had me at age 16. Things didn't work out. She could not take care of me properly, so I had to spend the first 2 years of my life in a hospital because they did not have a group home that were for medical children. When they finally built one, I was supposed to be the first resident of this group home called Cancrest. But during my 2 years of being in the hospital, a respiratory therapist who had been taking care of me all that time had fallen in love with me, convinced her family to become foster parents and certified. And they took me in from the time I was 2 years old until I was 7 or 8. Then I moved in with another foster home. She actually was my nurse during the time that I was in my first foster home. She took me in, she adopted me. Happy ending for me. But I know that not too many kids, there are not a lot of cases where people are as blessed as I have been. The only other cases I've seen is if you get adopted right out of the hospital or right out of the incubator. But anyway, one of the main thing I want to talk about is the foster care system and what I've witnessed and what I've experienced. So, from here on out, every week, I'm going to be picking a topic, and the 3 videos that I make on that week are going to be about said topic. So for today, Thursday and Friday, it's all going to be about foster care, at least in my area of the U.S., and hopefully we can have an open discussion about it. Now, today, I just thought I would tell you guys a few stories of how the foster care system fails, and then tomorrow I will give you a background history, and we'll just go from there. Hopefully, once I put this video up, it will start a conversation, and I will have different points of views to look at. My mom has been a foster parent for over 40 years, and she's seen a lot of stuff. So for today's video, I'm just going to give you guys 3 stories that really touched me about foster care, and hopefully through these stories you'll be able to see why I'm so passionate about this subject. The first story is of a little girl that we had in our home. We had her for 7 months, from the time she was, I think, 2 or 3 months until she was 8 or 9 months, whatever. Anyway, delightful baby girl, always put a smile on our faces. We wanted to find out why she was in our care, because what my mom usually does is she takes children that are medical, and after us or my mom having her for X amount of time, she realized there really weren't any medical issues that this little girl had. What we found out is that this baby's mother was addicted to drugs, so she was put in the care of her grandmother, and her grandmother was doing a great job, I guess. And I don't know how this works, but I guess there had to be a wellness check on this baby, and the social worker came into their home. They were African. This family are Spanish, and for some reason there was a language barrier. The grandmother did not speak English well, and I don't know what was wrong with this African social worker. Long story short, because of this language barrier, this idiot social worker took the baby out of this loving home where there was really nothing wrong. There was no reason why this grandmother couldn't care for her granddaughter, and placed her in our home for, like I said, 7 months. And this is what really gets me angry. Number one, like I said, the grandmother loved the baby and was obviously doing right by the baby. If you're a social worker and you see that this grandmother or this family doesn't speak your language, you need to go get an interpreter and bring that person to the house so you can have a nice line of communication. I can't imagine what it was like for this family to lose out on 7 months of their child. Now, the only fortunate thing about this is that this little girl was still a baby, so they didn't miss like a whole lot. She wasn't walking, things like that. So like they were able to experience that. But at the same time, it's just awful. Like they missed out on 7 months of their baby, all because of a stupid language barrier, all because somebody didn't do their homework prior to the visit, and it's just a terrible situation. I will say that this baby will always have a special place in my heart, because when she was with my family, my grandmother had passed away, and she was about to go back to her biological family, and my mom asked, "This baby is so sweet. I just lost my mother. Is there any way I can keep her for this last weekend to get me through the funeral?" And this loving family, who, as I've stated many times, had missed out on 7 months of their child's life, granted permission and allowed my mom to keep this baby just for the last weekend. And I think it really helped with the funeral. It helped my mom heal. So thank you so much for you guys and what you did, considering how horrible everything turned out. The next story I'm going to be talking about is a child that was in our home from the time he was 6 months until he was 3 years old. We're not going to get into the specifics of his case, but what I do want to talk about is this child has special needs, and there were quite a few services that this child needed, and we would send paperwork and emails back and forth between his social worker and us, and basically it took forever for his services to come. He needed physical therapy, speech, he just needed a whole bunch of things, and it didn't happen for a very long time, all because the social worker is completely incompetent. And the only time she would ever show up to our house, it felt like, is when there was going to be a court date regarding the child and the reunification with his family. And it used to piss me off. If that's all she did, the social worker, that would be great. But the other thing she would do is, once we would write emails to people above her, she realized she was in trouble and would try to throw us under the bus and make it seem like we were the ones that didn't respond to her emails properly, when that's not the case. We have receipts, the whole 9 yards. My mother has an impeccable reputation as a foster parent. I mean, look at me. I think I turned out amazing. So anything they tried, any bullet they tried to dodge at her or my family, you know, it never worked. We were always able to prevail. And the last thing I kind of want to talk about, this has nothing to do with me. We did not have this foster child at all. But the story, this husband and wife, they were married. The wife had already had one child. And when she came to America, because she was from Jamaica, came up to the United States, they had their own child. Now, according to this article, again, I will leave all links to in the description below. According to this article, this father worked a whole lot, and this mom was left at home caring for 2 children. Her first child was like 2 or 3, and then you had this newborn. This mother became so overwhelmed, she took her children to the emergency room and told the staff, "I am going crazy. I cannot handle these kids. I will kill them. I need help." Obviously, the hospital did what they were supposed to do. She got a psychiatric evaluation. They realized she was suffering from postpartum depression and a few other issues. I don't know the span of the next events, but somehow these children winded back up in their mother's care way sooner than they should have, and the father, because he worked so much, wasn't paying attention. I mean, we can argue all day. If you know that your wife is suffering from all these illnesses, maybe you should pay attention more, but maybe he couldn't afford to pay attention. Anyway, the children were back in the care of the mother, and unfortunately, long story short, she wound up killing her children. The Department of Human Services, foster care people in Philadelphia, did not know that she had a psychiatric evaluation. They didn't know that she suffered from postpartum depression. They didn't know anything, didn't even try to know anything, and put these children back in the hands of this woman who, like I said, went to the hospital and told the hospital personnel, "I need help, I can't deal with my children." And what does the foster care agency do? They just sit there and shrug their shoulders, and they're like, I don't know what happened. So right now, the father is in the process of suing DHS for their negligence and for why his children died. I don't understand this. I don't understand how and why these kids are suffering the way they are. I don't understand why these social workers are doing what they're supposed to do. Back when I was a foster child, half the shit that you see happen today did not happen when I was in the system. The judges cared about the kids, the social worker cared about their kids, and people just had consciences. There seemed to be no one with consciences anymore. About a month ago, I was at my favorite Italian restaurant called Maggiano's, and I was sitting near these 2 lawyers. They were family court lawyers, and they were just laughing and joking about how the system's failing and basically degrading the families of these kids that are in foster care and saying it's a waste of time, a waste of taxpayers' money. And I'm looking at this guy like, you're the reason why our system is failing, because you think it's funny. You came from probably a wonderful home, had all the opportunities in the world, and you just suck. My only regret is that I didn't turn around and tell him off, but I didn't feel like I had that right, nor did I really want to. Anyway, for the rest of the week, we're going to be talking about foster care. These are 3 stories that I shared with you guys that stuck out to me and made me so freaking angry about the system and what's going on. The police commissioner gave DHS of Philadelphia a D, like a letter grade D, for how poorly they're doing. I think they deserve a negative F, but that's just my opinion. Tomorrow we're going to get into the history of foster care. I'm going to be sharing some more stories with you guys, and then we're going to be talking about ways that we can help these kids, especially in our area, because that's something I'm very passionate about. I want people to give a damn about these kids. I wish there was a way to wipe out all the social workers in my area that give two shits about these kids, but that's not going to happen. Whew! Oh, I am sweating. I'm getting so upset. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you were in the system or still are in the system, comment below. Tell me your stories. If you were or are a foster parent, I'd love to hear from you too. And with that being said, have a fantastic day and stay blessed. Goodbye.